I think we can start Bowner without him because he wasn't.
I think we can start Bowner.
Bowner. Without her. We are in New York right now filming some Podcrushed episodes, and I took a break to see the Harry Potter play. By took a break, I mean in the evening, obviously. But
she just left us.
I just left. I was like, you guys do this interview. Just like the Chris Olsen one.
She's like, I wasn't there for Chris. I'm going to skip this one, too.
You guys don't need me. Loved it. So impressed. And I started thinking, which house would each of us be in? Penn, do you know what the houses are?
I think I can name them. I think it's, Gryffindor, Hufflepuff.
There you go.
Ravenclaw, and I can't remember. Oh, Slytherin. I got it.
Oh, amazing. And you know what the traits are associated with each house?
Slytherin is hot and sexy. Ravenclaw is nerdy and sexy. Gryffindor is like just regular sexy, which is the most boring kind of sexy. But like when, by the way, I'm making this fully tongue-in-cheek, but then remembering that this is
They're
a
all
YA
kids.
franchise.
I know. I was like,
no, but of the YA franchises, she was the most restrained.
Yeah.
She did not sexualize
right.
them.
No, that's so true.
Yeah.
And
but Penn is.
But I'm just gonna go ahead and sexualize our youth. No.
Ravenclaw, really smart. Hufflepuff, really sweet. Gryffindor, really brave.
One of them's weird, though.
No. Gryffindor, really brave. And
Nava's reached out and touched my arm like, you sweet, misguided
Kartik,
child.
am I wrong? No, I'm right? Okay. And
Kartik, by the way,
who went to the play with me,
also has a giant Harry Potter tattoo.
Yeah, he knows about Harry Potter. And then Slytherin are cunning.
Cunning. I mean, they're also evil.
Evil, yeah. That's
they're
what
not
I
meant
said.
to be
No,
evil,
they're not,
though.
because
no, they're not.
Snape,
yeah.
right?
And in the play,
he's
it's
the
a very
only
big plot
non-evil
point.
one.
It is a very big plot point in the play that Slytherin does not equal evil. So, which house do you guys think you'd be in? How would you get sorted?
I don't want to put myself in my own house, but go ahead, Soph.
I think people would look at me and they'd say, oh, Hufflepuff, you're sweet. No, I'm not. I want people to know once and for all, I would probably be.
Are you calling yourself Gryffindor? You're like, no, I'm not sweet. I'm a star.
I don't fit into any of the boxes. I probably, out of the four, would be in Hufflepuff, but I resent that.
Okay.
I don't think I'm actually Hufflepuff.
What are you actually? What's your standout attribute if it's not sweet?
I think.
Why'd you put me on the spot like that?
I think I'm like playful and a little goofy. I think those are out of
How
those.
is
You know,
that not
those.
sweet?
I think
It's
that
a
people have a
flavor.
conception of me as like, submissive, sweet, and I just don't. That doesn't quite resonate for me.
I think you can be sweet without being submissive.
Yes,
You can also be submissive without being sweet.
True. Also
I'm with you. By the way,
that.
I don't perceive you that way.
Oh, good.
Of course, we do business together. So.
Yeah.
Oh, never
Like,
thought of
Sophia's
you as
not
sweet.
sweet.
Yeah, not once has it crossed my mind. Cool. I like to think that I'm Ravenclaw, but I've taken.
Oh, really? I never would have guessed that.
Shocking. But I've taken the test. There's
There's
online.
a test, and it's scientific.
No,
okay.
but I've taken it multiple times. And I'm
Yeah.
always like, I'm gonna get Ravenclaw this time, and I always get Gryffindor. Always.
I always get the good one.
I love
every
that you're
time.
like, I just want the niche smart one, but I'm
smart one.
a hero.
I'm popular.
It's brave. That's the quality. Brave.
I don't know what I would be. I honestly, okay, so I guess I'm not, what's the sweet one? Hufflepuff, I suppose. But guys, in truth though,
You
I'm
might be a
actually quite
Hufflepuff.
sweet, right?
You might be a Hufflepuff.
You know what's really sweet? My man bun right now. I just want to call to
Yeah.
attention for those who aren't watching, you're missing out on my my long hair that I've put up because it gets so like, you just gotta put it up. And then everybody has an opinion about it. So I'm going to take it down.
Okay.
I'm going to take it down when Roy gets here.
Okay.
Which, by the way, is me skirting which house I am and going right to our guest.
But you
Do I
said
get
people
to-
would think Hufflepuff, or no? You
No,
might
I don't think
secret-
people would ever think Hufflepuff. But I
but
think
that's what you
I think internally maybe. But what are they other than sweet?
I don't know. Kartik, what are they other than sweet?
That's the thing. They're like the
Wait, Kartik's
least.
gonna
This is
weigh in.
much worse than astrology. You've got 4 choices.
That's pretty much it.
And we don't
It
have
really
more than one
sucks.
adjective?
Yeah.
They're pretty. He said that's pretty much it.
So,
For the
but by the
Hufflepuffs.
way, I just want to say that if that's all we've got to go on, Slytherin, a house that years after the current play is full of murderers, right? I'm sorry. It is full of murderers.
Yeah.
And one mole, one plant, which is Snape. Sorry, spoiler
Yes.
alert.
Yeah.
That we're not going to go ahead. They're cunning. But Hufflepuff, surely, wasn't Mr. What's his, Neville, I was
Neville
gonna,
Longbottom
yeah,
is Gryffindor.
Oh, he's Gryffindor.
Who is in Hufflepuff? Nobody of the main
Did,
characters.
did anybody
Hufflepuff-
make a
What?
sacrifice?
Cedric. Oh, Cedric Diggory. That's one of the best characters in Harry Potter.
Robert
Isn't that Ron
Peterson.
Pattinson?
It is.
Peterson.
That's an Easter egg.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm just thinking that I don't like this categorization. So let's leave it to the
I would
listeners.
say Ravenclaw. If I had to
Okay.
sort you.
Yeah.
All right.
I would
yeah,
say
there's two
Ravenclaw.
smarties over here.
Well, we've established I'm not as smart as I
But
think
why
I
wouldn't I
am,
be Gryffindor?
so-
Oh no, you've taken it repeatedly, and you
No,
are Gryffindor.
you could be Gryffindor.
Yeah.
No, you could be Gryffindor. But do you think brave is your standout quality over
No.
intellect? What do you think?
Maybe internally. No, I don't know. I don't think it is. I wish it was.
I think brave is one that manifests outwardly.
Yeah.
Don't you think? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't.
I think
think
you two are in Ravenclaw together.
No, but she's in Gryffindor. That's.
Oh
the-
yeah, that's right.
Listen,
We're all
Hufflepuff.
pitted against
Can
each
you-
other.
We've all become Slytherin.
And David
in
is
this.
Slytherin.
Is he really?
He's not though.
No,
He's
I'm
such a-
just
no.
trying to complete.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
David is quite sweet.
Yeah,
David is
David's
very
probably a
David is very
Hufflepuff.
sweet.
Yeah.
David's probably the real
Yeah.
Hufflepuff.
That's how we met
of the team.
Yeah.
in Hufflepuff.
You might be a Slytherin.
Honestly, I think that's what my family would say.
Cute. Okay, I'm gonna let my hair down. Hold on, this is just giving a pause for people who are just listening. Watch this. Watch. I'm gonna do a hair flip.
Oh.
Here we go. See, we're trying to get numbers here, aren't
Wow.
we? Just it probably looks quite bad, actually. It's very frizzy in the front. Let's switch to our guests now. So today we have. How does one make every guest seem very special? Because
This guest really is special.
No, really. No, but I mean, I was going to say no, but he really is. Because we did have, an incredible conversation. Roy Wood Jr., a writer, I mean, he's an actor, but let's call it right now. I mean, what he's known for, what he's hot for. He hosted the White House Correspondents Dinner.
We should be inspired by the events in France. They rioted when the retirement age went up 2 years to 64. They rioted because they didn't want to work till 64. Meanwhile, in America, we have an 80-year-old man begging us for 4 more years of work. Begging.
Well, I don't want to ruin it because we start right there. So
Yeah.
what else do you know Roy Wood Jr. from? You know him from The Daily Show, from his stand-up specials. If you don't know him yet, you will now. I think you'll love this. Stick around for. Welcome to Podcrushed. We're your hosts. I'm Penn.
I'm Sophie.
And I'm Nava, and I think we would have been your middle school besties.
Leading a middle school rebellion and ousting the administration. First of all, as of right now, if we'd booked you a day later, we wouldn't have gotten you. So, because you're certainly ascending. I mean, you recently is it hosted? What do you call it?
I
Hosting.
don't know.
the-
Some people say headliner, some people say host.
Yeah.
But I'm
okay.
technically not the host.
Right.
Headlined. I like
Yeah,
that.
headlining the hardest room in the world, probably the White House Correspondents Dinner.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of nah.
Is there a harder
No
room?
harder room.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, especially in 2023. Like the hardest room at the hardest time.
Yeah.
The only way that gig could be harder is if it was an outdoor day show. Comedy outdoors is a recipe for death. Comedy during
Really?
the day,
Interesting.
Yeah, that makes
it
sense.
just pushes against every. Comedy requires attention and focus,
Yeah.
and it's better in darkness.
That makes sense.
And that's the only way you can make the Correspondents Dinner more tough.
Right. That room is where comedy meets journalism and really becomes something like modern philosophy. I don't know if that sounds way too high-minded to you because some comedians tend to reject that, but I think that is what happens at least in that space. Does
In a
that
best
resonate?
case scenario, yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't, as a comedian, you can't make that the goal. You also
Exactly.
can't proclaim that as your objective as a performer because that's such a moving target that if you hit it, cool. If not, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
'Cause, hey, it was just jokes. It was
Right,
just-
of course.
They laugh.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's a win-win.
That's true.
Yeah. So if you double bonus, okay, you made them laugh, but then you also left them with something to consider. Then okay, then that's the best case scenario.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the goal. The goal was, all right, the people who do know me only know me from Daily Show.
Mhm.
Everybody else, I must assume you have never seen me professionally as a comedian. So I have to establish that first. First, I need you to just believe that I'm funny before there's anything else to be said. So let's do a couple jokes there. Then, before I start attacking people in the room, because you don't trust me, let's attack people that we all agree, or issues that we all agree could be attacked. So you go George Santos and Tucker Carlson and school shootings. Then you get into the granular people that everybody's touchy about. And then you end with the president and the vice president. And so that was the idea. And then I just wanted to talk about journalism. So I just, all right, I'll mention my dad so you at least know that I kind of know what I'm talking about. But I didn't think people was going to, your father's story, and it resonated, and your dad was embedded in all the wars, and he was covering everything, which is one of the highest forms of respect in journalism, is to be an embedded war reporter, which my father was. But I didn't know that they were going to leave with that. And it's just, I just need you to laugh long enough so I can say that the media needs to get their shit together.
Roy, was there a joke that you were the most nervous to tell?
The stuff about the vice president, I wasn't sure how that was going to go, because I have to attack her to start, which is what I like about comedy, is going to the edge, taking the audience to the edge.
Totally.
Of, whoa, he's going to go over the line.
Yeah.
Oh, he brought
You
us
did that.
back.
I think you did that really well. I was like,
It's
no,
juggling
okay,
dynamite, but it's
Yeah.
exciting.
So I have to say, I feel like in those really difficult moments, I see like these flashes of like a really boyish, pure smile where you have brought the audience to the edge, and you're kind of, now you're like, all right, now I'm going to bring you back. And I also feel like maybe if I'm seeing anything, you're getting just a really, I don't know, private, personal moment of joy. Is this?
Yeah. There was a moment near the end where I like just in the middle, like them laughing at a joke, I just looked over at my mom, just where she was, just like
That's so cute.
just hot dogging at that point. But that's also, in a way, though, boyish smile works against me in that scenario, because the expectation is mean and roast.
Yeah.
You know, the best roasters, if you go back and really look at them, they didn't smile.
That's true, actually. That's very true.
Maybe at the end, like Rodney Dangerfield might give you a quick smirk. I don't think Don Rickles ever smiled in anything that I can. Jeff Ross, more modern day, but that works against me.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay.
So I have to like work against, oh, you want to like me? Yeah, but I still got to say the president takes naps.
That was so good.
You are often quite stone-faced. I mean, again, I have to say, like, that room has it's never been harder. Like, this year of all years, like, I really was thinking, I mean, I was nervous watching you, but it was those moments. It was and I look, I'm seeing something and magnifying it for our selfish purpose, which is like, does that track at all to when you were a kid? Were you mischievous? Like just paint a bit of a picture for us when you were just about 12 years old, growing. And at that point, were you in Alabama, by the way?
Yeah, we were in Birmingham. We moved to Birmingham when I was in the 3rd grade from Memphis. So I pretty much, I was born in New York, but I mean, within a year we were in Mississippi and Memphis or whatever. I don't think I was that bad of a child. Like, I'm trying to think, like when I was 12, 10 or 11, maybe 12, I remember one year my mom wouldn't let me go outside and light fireworks for 4th of July. Just, you can't go, just on some, just because I said so type shit. So that night while I'm washing dishes, I decided I was going to light a bottle rocket in the house and just drop it in the dishwater.
Whoa!
Oh, no.
I'll show her.
But what I didn't know is that the filament on the bottle rocket is waterproof in case
Yeah.
you're firing bottle rockets up into the rain. Like a
Wow.
lot of fireworks. Most aerial fireworks, the stem or whatever, it's
I didn't
water
know that.
resistant. Whatever, I don't know, whatever it is, water ain't putting that shit out.
Yeah.
And I dropped a bottle rocket into the dishwater thinking it would go out, and it ignited and it fired across the house.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And my parents literally didn't say a word.
Was
My
that
mo-
was that scarier?
Yeah, my mom just quietly went upstairs and took both of my Nintendo controllers
It's so much self-control.
and just went
as a
back and
parent.
sat back on the couch. Never looked at me, never said anything.
Wow.
Wow.
Like, that's the type of mischief I was into. Like, I wasn't, like, I got into
Accidental.
trouble.
Yeah, I got into trouble in college, but like I tried to shoplift in elementary school, like with the cool kids or whatever, walking home from school. And I remember like I was in the mall and there was this space shuttle. There was this fucking space shuttle in KB Toys. And it was at that age, like about 11, about middle school, where you can split up from your parents in the mall. Like, you know, this is before they kidnap kids, you know. Kidnapping didn't start until like 04, 05. You know, it's never happened before that. And I went in KB Toys and I tried to steal a space shuttle, and the lady...
That's a big thing to steal.
Yeah.
It's like,
People are like stealing
like
keychains.
as like a sixth grader, and you're trying to steal like a pretty sizable, like the packaging about the size of an iPad. It's not...
Yeah.
You're not just slipping this into the small of your back.
Yeah.
And as I'm walking out the store, the lady just goes, "Put it back."
Where did you put it? I want to know where did you have it on your body?
In my underarm, and then I had my left arm down. So I'm walking with one arm straight, like it got wounded in war. Like it just like, oh, this arm never moves. And she goes, "Put it back." And I put it back, and then sure as shit, I go back and meet my mom at the department store like an hour later, like I'm supposed to. And then she goes, "Oh, come with me. I need to go to the toy store. I got to get a birthday gift for someone." I'm like,
No.
and I have to go back in the store that I just tried to steal something from with my mom. And the lady just stared at me the whole time, but she never snitched.
Oh, wow.
She never snitched, like on some community, take a village type,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, the staring was probably enough of a lesson.
Yeah.
It was like the threat was
Yeah,
enough.
she should have snitched. I stole blue jeans in college and got caught.
She might have stopped you on your trajectory.
But no, like that, I wasn't a bad kid. I was very imaginative. You know, I have a lot of half siblings and stuff, but I grew up an only child. I drew a comic book, like a proper comic strip, I should say. I would draw like panel comic strips and take them to school and pass them around to my classmates to see if they thought it was funny. I was Mad Magazine and baseball cards. Like that's maybe a Nintendo Power if I had a little extra money from doing yard work and stuff. But for the most part, I didn't get into a lot of trouble. You know, and I grew up in a pretty, I'd say rough neighborhood, but I grew up on the better, you know, like a rough neighborhood still, like all neighborhoods have a good side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a bad zip code, bad neighborhood, but this little pocket here, it's okay. You know, because a lot of the stuff happens over on that street and a lot of the other stuff happens across the tracks. So, you know, I had a basketball goal that my mother got me in middle school. And so because of that, I didn't have to walk down to Powderly Park anymore to play ball. And that's where a lot of shit went down. So I didn't really get into a lot of trouble because everything I needed was in the yard. And if I was venturing out of our house, it was to work or go to library class for computer class at the library. So I'm either raking leaves or I have a destination, but I just didn't hang in a lot of places where you could get into shit.
So what was the vibe like at home? Because from what we could tell, you know, not only do you have the history that you mentioned about your father, but your mother was an administrator in college. Is that right?
Yeah, in those days, she was still working in high school and middle school.
Okay.
So, you know, I was latchkey, like my parents for the most part. The only time we were even home, I would say the three of us at the same time, is Sundays.
Wow.
Because everybody had shit to do.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
my dad was a morning newsman, so he was out the door at 5 o'clock. So by the time I woke up for school,
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah.
he's already gone. And so then he would come home in the afternoon and like he'd pick me up from baseball practice and all of that. I might see my mom for 5 minutes and then she's back out the door to night school, to grad school, to PhD and law school.
Wow.
And then my dad, by the time my mom gets back home at like, you know, 8:30 or 9, my dad is out the door because he's doing overnights and doing a jazz show on top of the new show.
That's amazing.
So
it's like so much. It's also like so much. It feels like there's just so much knowledge and like culture, power, whatever you want to call those things. I mean, it sounds like on one hand, the potential for so much stimulation, but then on the other hand, you're like alone a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I was alone a lot, and you just live in your head
Right.
when you're
No
in
siblings?
that space. And I got a lot of halves, but I grew up alone. I was in that house alone. I might see my half, like my father. There's like a bunch of kids all over town, but they have their parent, they have their mom, you have your mom. I'll see you when I see you around town at something, or my dad will
Right.
drag us to a barbecue together or some shit. But for the most part, we didn't. And also, there was an age disparity as well. Like, you know, keep in mind, I'm 11, 12 years old. These are like 25-year-old men.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like a 6-year-old. Like,
Right.
I can't kick it with either end
Yeah.
of that spectrum.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just stayed at the house. I'd go outside and play baseball, pretend to be Dave Stewart, and try and throw a ball against a wall because I was going to be a pitcher. I was going to be Dave Stewart. I
Really?
was going to be Ken Griffey. Like that was
Ken Griffey, yeah.
that was going to be my thing.
It sounds like you enjoyed time to yourself too.
Yeah.
Is that true today?
You kind of have to.
Well, but that's all I ever knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and then keep in mind in Memphis, when we were living there, my dad was bouncing around from city to city because essentially what it was before we got to Birmingham, you know, my father being a journalist, you move from market to market. I'm not going to uproot my whole family until I know for sure that this is a stable thing. So let me
Right.
stay here a year, and I'll drive back to Memphis every
Wow.
weekend and
Wow.
say hey or whatever. But Monday through Friday, it's me and my mom.
Right.
So I'm going to school, like K through 3. I'm into after school care, and then my mom brings me home at 5 when she got off of work. Here's food. I'm headed to grad school. Be in the bed at 8. The homework better be on the table. I'm going to
Wow.
wake you up.
Mm.
I do my homework. I watch Nickelodeon. I go to fuck to bed. So
Wow.
that was just life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
back then, like there just was no babies. You knew not to go outside. Like there was enough of a threat.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they'd take you away from your parents now if they found out you did that with a first grader. But I knew
Yeah.
how to. I was a have it. What it does also, though, in a weird way, when you have educators in your house, is that I think it matures you
Yeah.
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
a
That makes
faster rate.
sense.
So
I was gonna say there's a lot of like trust. She's like just placing so much trust in your like self discipline almost, which
Yeah.
is, I mean, look, everything has a tax, but there's something very empowering about that. I would say, you know,
Yeah.
and I know there's a tax.
Yeah.
There's definitely a tax.
Yeah,
We heard that your parents divorced and then got back together.
yeah.
Did you parent trap them? How did that
yeah.
happen?
Well, it wasn't a
yourself.
divorce; it was a separation. Like
okay,
it was
okay.
like a long separation. It was like a couple, some years. No, I didn't parent trap him. I was just like, "Oh, you're back? Oh, y'all back together? Oh, we're going to Birmingham? All right, cool."
Oh, really? That's what it was like. Because I would assume that for a lot of kids, that's like the goal. That's the dream. If their parents reconcile like that, but was it kind of just run of the mill? Like, okay, that's what's happening.
You have to remember though, when I was born, they were together, and they were together when my mom moved to Memphis, and my dad was coming into town. So when they decided to break things off for a while, he never stopped coming to town.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
So I never had a sense of a different dynamic. It's not like a divorce in the middle school and then get
Yeah.
back together in high school. This is just, oh, that's the dude that comes every Friday, Saturday and brings me a truck from a toy truck from a truck stop. Hello, sir. Do you have my toys and snacks? So then it just became, if anything, it was more of a promotion because like, oh, we're gonna go live with Toy and Truck Dude. I remember him from every weekend in Memphis. So the not together dynamic, I think, was something more for them. But for me, it just started off as one thing, and then it escalated into what we would consider a traditional home. So like that's kind of, I don't know.
That's
I
like a
never really-
backwards process from what most people maybe start with something traditional and then it breaks apart. But it sounds like you
Yeah.
kind of started with something a little bit more
a little
compartmentalized.
disassembled. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then my mom didn't even tell me we were moving to Birmingham. Like I would get sent to Birmingham like those 2 years before we went to Birmingham. Memphis City schools ended like a month before Birmingham. But my mom was like ready to be done with me and here, you need to go be with your dad. So she would send me to Birmingham on the plane, and I would sit in Birmingham at my dad's house for like a month until I went back to Mississippi with my cousins. And my dad, because he's old school civil rightsy kind of guy, he doesn't believe in kids just sitting around all day. So he would fucking wake me up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go with him to the radio station. And I would sit in the production room and just
Wow.
for 2 hours watch him read the news. Until he would rip like The Wire, like today, in today's world, kids, you would just go to a website and copy and paste. But in those days, the AP Wire, it was literally a printer that was connected to a satellite, and it just printed news.
Wow.
And you would just go to it and read stuff. And like when they say ripped from the wire or ripped from the head, that was because you literally ripped a sheet of paper off of a printer. And then you take it into a room and you read that to the world. So I'll watch my pops do that till like 7 o'clock in the morning. Then at 7 in the morning, Francine Palmer would walk into the office and take me to Kingston Elementary School. And I got dropped off. And because my pops was the man around town, he knew people, he was connected, he just dropped me off at a fucking school.
Any school.
I know a teacher over there. What grade are you in? 3rd? All right, well, go sit in a 4th grade class.
Wow. Wow. I mean, this is really like, I actually have quite an unconventional upbringing and didn't have a lot of schooling. And this is really,
My
this
pops
takes the
considered
cake,
it
man.
a sneak preview of whatever you're going to be learning next year.
Right.
But it
because
was
you had-
free babysitting.
Because you had finished the school year in Memphis already.
Done with
And it
3rd
was just
grade.
like
so
your summer
go
vacation.
watch the last month of 4th grade live.
Right. Wow.
In exchange for, I'm an adult now. It was childcare.
Yeah.
He dropped
No, of
me
course,
off.
of course.
100%.
But it was educational, and I'm in a safe place. I'm
Yeah.
going to be fed.
Yeah.
It's fine. I mean, it wasn't ideal as a child, but
Of course, yeah.
you're in a room full of strangers, which is behaviorally the norm for me.
Yeah.
It's just there was always constant moving around with schools and stuff.
So, Roy, you described sitting in the morning, early morning, 5 to 7, listening to your dad read off the news. I'm wondering if that inspired you in any way, or was it just boring? Were you like, I'm done with this, or
It's boring at the time. You don't. That's a seed that doesn't sprout till you're in your 30s.
yeah,
Right.
I don't know if he was planting that on purpose, but when I got my learner's permit when I was 15, my dad died when I was 16 from cancer. But when as the cancer progressed and I got older, I became his driver to a lot of his speaking engagements. And so take everything I said that wasn't funny at the correspondents dinner and now stretch that for 60 minutes.
In
And
the
that's
car.
what my father would do.
Oh,
Just
right. Okay.
real and raw
Okay.
about what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
And like nothing motivational about it. Like you could be inspired, but I'm going to tell you that the world is terrible, and here's all the different ways it's terrible and the ways you haven't considered that it could be terrible for your kids, and here's how you need to prepare. Thank you, Roy Wood. Where's my money?
Right.
Wow.
So I drove him around to a lot of those speaking engagements, so I got to watch him perform. And then you get older, and then once my comedy turned into something more opinionated, it was like, shit, I'm just like him.
Yeah, that's what I've been wondering. This is like, as we all try to resist aspects of our parents, and then part of us becomes them. What's your relationship to that now? Like, do you see yourself then being? Well, I guess you said the seed is being planted, sort of whether you want it to or not.
Yeah, I just think I think a lot of who we are as adults is products of circumstance or intention from our childhood. So I don't believe my father was intentionally trying to make me be him. I don't think my dad ever asked me what I wanted to be. I don't even think it's a conversation we ever breached. It was just be respectful and do your work, and just, you'll figure it out type shit, I guess. I don't know. But I don't think it was ever intentional in that regard. And then as a result, now with my son, I don't try to ever put anything on him.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't even really let him watch me on TV that much. Like he knows. Like during the pandemic, there was no hiding it because just cameras were everywhere
Right.
in the house.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to try to influence or steer or make you ever feel pressured that you must do what I do and this is the family business. And, it's do whatever you want, whatever you feel like doing. My mom was the one that would, whatever you're curious in, I'm going to encourage you to be the best version of it.
That's great.
But
Yeah.
the day I lost interest was the day she would stop talking about it. She never forced me to stick with it. When I had my baseball dream, she made sure I had all the best equipment. You know, when I wanted to be an astronaut, she tried to get me to space camp in Huntsville. When I was a fire inspector, she had a friend who was a firefighter come sit me down. I wanted to be a firefighter. She had a friend who was a firefighter come sit me down and go, here's why you should be a fire inspector. Do firefighting, but work your way up to.
Yeah. How old were you then?
Like, I don't know, fourth grade.
Okay, I was gonna say that's like that real boyish childhood.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be a firefighter.
Yeah, firefighter. Have you thought about chemicals and particles and accelerants and why the different molecular
No,
things?
I just like the truck. Yeah. I recently, sometimes I substitute teach, and I recently subbed in a kindergarten class, and the entire day was about firefighters. It was like in the morning, they read a book about firefighters, and then they made a firefighter hat, and then in the afternoon, the firefighters came to visit the class. I was like, this is a good gig to be a kindergarten teacher. But there was one student who, we'd spent the afternoon with the firefighters, and we were getting ready to leave. We're all saying goodbye, and he just left the group of kindergartners and ran to the firefighter and hugged his leg and was like, take me with you. The firefighter was like, you have to stay in school. He's like, I hate school.
Good.
It was so cute.
Well, as educators, let me ask you all this then. How do you feel? What am I trying to say? I don't like the fact that they only push certain jobs at school for career day.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the true array of occupations and what we've evolved into as a society is still properly portrayed.
Yeah.
And I know that school is ultimately about creating people that are smart enough to do the thing they love, and hopefully you make money from it so you can be a provider for yourself and whoever you're with. So you have to think about jobs, you have to think about occupations, but I also wonder sometimes how much does school still think about it beyond the traditional occupations?
Yeah.
Like, we know what the Big 10 are. It's all the hero jobs, and I'm counting nurses and the military in that. And then it's educator, doctor,
Lawyer.
It's hero job and suit jobs.
Right.
But I never got if I'd have known that video game tester was a thing.
Yeah.
Why didn't you? You motherfuckers knew, and you just didn't invite them. So whenever I hear about career day and stuff, I get so mad.
Yeah.
Tell them about the good shit.
Yeah. Honestly.
I think schools are not, I believe in schooling, but I think schools are not fit for purpose. I think they're based on some, everyone in the same classroom, early model. And there should be differentiated design, and we should be teaching to habits of mind, so that whatever you go into, how do you learn? I think that schools should teach you how to learn, in any setting, continuous learning, and the habits of mind and the discipline that you need to get through life. And I don't think schools teach that. I don't think most schools are doing that. So I think schools need we just need a revolution in our school systems.
Yeah.
Most kids seem to become exhausted by learning. The notion of learning very early on becomes uncool and undesirable, and I think the one thing I got by not going to a lot of school traditionally is that I never lost the love of learning. And I would think for you it might be split, because while you had a quite unconventional path and were in all these different spaces, your parents were educators, and I mean, yeah, I'm just curious, especially in middle school, when you're starting to, your mind is really developing in a different way.
Yeah.
What was your relationship to school and to teachers and stuff then?
I wasn't really cool. I wasn't anti-learning. My issue was I was never in the same school district for more than 2 years until high school, because I was in a gifted program. So in Birmingham City Schools, there's always only one school that offers the gifted whatever curriculum. So whoever the gifted kids were in the city limits, you all had to go to that school. And then every year or two, they would change the program, just move. So you just have to take another bus.
Wow.
And so 6th grade, I was on the bus at 6:30 for an 8 o'clock school day. So I'm spending 3 hours every day on the bus.
Yeah.
Wow.
You cannot thrive like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started making like my first C's and D's and stuff like that because I'm just showing up to class tired. It's a new space. I found learning to be structurally repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
And once it got to that place, I just didn't respect it. And I'm not going to say I was too smart to learn this stuff, but I was never inspired to. But then that's also, an 80s, 90s public school teacher model where we're talking class ratios 30-1. So it's not enough. The teacher can't give you enough individualized, whatever the hell you need.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed knowledge. Like I hated learning, but I liked knowledge, if that made sense.
Yeah, yeah.
I watched all the nature shows. I remember, like, one show I used to watch other than Nickelodeon when I was latchkey was Wild America with Marty Stauffer. And Marty Stauffer was like the OG David Attenborough on the narration, nature side of shit. So, you watch PBS, you leave it on long enough, it gets into animals and shit. Like, it gets away from Sesame Street. So I love reading about animals. I had encyclopedias. I had a computer. My mother busted her ass to get me an Apple IIe.
Was that one of those colorful ones?
Yeah. This is by middle school. Now, elementary school, I was going to the library and taking computer classes, and I would play Oregon Trail and all of this stuff.
Oregon Trail, man.
And then she ordered these encyclopedias. And so when she would take the Nintendo, I also lost phone privileges. I lost TV privileges. So the only thing I could do when I was home was read.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just read the fucking encyclopedia. I would just find an animal that I like. And I'm going to read about wolves today.
Wow.
And then at the end of wolves, they have, if you like wolves, jackals, fox.
That is so
You're
cool,
ugly.
honestly.
So then I'd go get the F and say, fuck it, I'll read about a fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you like fox, would you like to read about weasels? Yeah.
I would.
It's like the original algorithm.
The original clickbait.
That was the related videos.
Yeah.
So it got to a point where I would just read encyclopedias by the letter, just front to back.
What? That?
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
In those days, I mean, it started from me just, cutting up in school or making an F or, being an asshole in the house. But then I would just sit and just read. Let me learn everything about everything.
Wow.
What is the difference between a flap and an aileron? And why does the plane go up and down? Okay, let me read about that. Let's read about some aerodynamics. So
Incredible.
that's kind of what, but now if you put me in a classroom and you go, okay, I need you to tell me why Napoleon invaded this country. I don't know, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know why I need to know that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, if I didn't respect the curriculum, I wouldn't connect with it. And once I didn't connect with it, I was guaranteed to have a C.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you add on top of that, my father passing, like those last 2 years, I'm working more to help cover bills in the house.
Right.
If I could die, IRS is coming for the house. So I have to work 30 hours this week. So
At 16.
yeah. So I'm sorry, Miss Shaw, I'm not prepped for the fucking U.S. history exam. Well, you're going to go to summer school. Probably best that we spread this out anyway.
Yeah.
I got shit to do.
You're like already negotiating. I feel like that's.
I wish you could have.
Yeah. Did you ever want to leave the gifted and talented program so that you could kind of be in a situation that was more stable?
I left my junior year of high school. I was like, just give me a diploma, bro. I don't even care about like an AP course and you need a credit for college. I just want to graduate. Just let me leave here.
Yeah.
And I knew like I wasn't going to get a bunch of scholarships anyway, because at that point I had enough C's that my GPA was fucked. So thankfully, because my mom's an educator, for years, she had me on the prep courses and all of the ACT Kaplan books where you learn all of the.
That's right.
Here's how to take a
Tricks.
standardized.
Yeah.
Here's how to
Yeah.
think analytically. So I murdered my
Yeah?
ACT.
Oh, good.
So that's what saved my ass. But
Wow.
I'm not anti-learning, but it's just, how do you make this exciting? And
Mhm.
then trying to negotiate that with my son, who's old enough to be able to say school is boring.
Right.
Mhm.
The only thing I like about school is lunch and PE. And I like geography, but they're not even teaching geography yet because he's in the first grade. So he's learning all of that on his own. My
Right.
son
Oh,
could
wow.
name more capitals. My son can name more countries than anybody in this room.
Wow.
That's for
I
sure.
believe that.
That's
Blind.
for sure.
You give him a blind
amazing.
map, and he's pop,
Wow.
pop,
You're
pop,
kidding.
pop, 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 pop,
That's amazing, man.
which means when it's time to take geography, he's fucked.
Yeah, because he's
Yeah,
going to be
'cause he-
bored.
He's gonna be
Right.
bored because he already knows it.
Yeah.
But what I'm supposed to do? Tell him don't learn stuff you're excited about. That's
Yeah.
him, wolf to fox to
Yeah,
weasel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't.
No, I think you have to encourage that individual desire for learning. And I think more and more, not all schools, definitely not all schools, but some schools are coming around and figuring that out.
They're
that-
trying. They're certainly
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah, I think so. That there needs to be differentiation for different kids. There's no, there is, like most schools, most teachers are, because like you said, it's 30 to 1. I think it still is. Like when I was teaching a few years ago, it was like in New York, average like 26 to 30 to 1.
Mm.
It was,
Yeah.
and so most teachers are teaching to the middle, but there's this
Technically
thing
no
called
one.
the myth of the average learner. There is
Right,
no
right.
average learner. So they're teaching to no one. Yeah,
Yeah,
no
great,
one's really
awesome.
able to access it. But I think more and more, like that concept is becoming more known, and there's more ways to address it and to reach many, many kids at once. But Roy, you mentioned earlier that you sometimes have moments where you realize, like, oh shit, I'm my dad. And I wonder, now that you're a father and you have a son,
Yes.
what are the ways in which you see yourself in your son? And then what are the ways in which he's totally unique? It's like, I don't know where he got that from. I know he's young still, so maybe that's still developing.
He's more adventurous than I was physically.
Mm.
He's more of a risk taker. I'm very reserved. I'm very calculated for when I decide to take a chance. But like on a base level, adrenaline junkie type behavior.
Is his mom that way, or is it just his own
I
thing?
do not know. I don't think his mom was like that when she was a child. But
Interesting.
I definitely was not the daredevil run, jump, hop
Yeah.
off of this thing. I'm going to learn to ride this bike without the training wheels. Thank you very much. I'll figure it out. Oh, I fell. It's fine. I'm going to get back up again.
That's
Wow.
incredible.
So in terms of where he gets self-motivation from, I do not know. I do not know. I was not like that
Mm-hmm.
growing up. He definitely is aware of his sense of humor.
Mm.
And I don't know how much that is a good thing. You know, like we try not to encourage it,
How come?
but I'm not going to discourage it
Mm-hmm.
because attention is a drug.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
And I don't know if you're doing this naturally because that's who you are or because you need attention.
Mm.
So let me just give you attention even when you're not being funny. Like, I'm not going to give you an extra pat on the head because you walked in the room and told a joke. And he's constantly ideating original jokes.
Wow.
What did the dad sushi say
amazing.
to the kid sushi? Let's roll.
You're kidding.
Right.
That's a
Off the dome.
good.
Yeah.
That is. I
That's
think
really
that might
good.
be
Yeah.
a brilliant joke for a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I have to go, yeah, that was a good one. I can't go, wow, you
Yeah,
thought of that
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them to get the
Yeah.
idea of that. Also,
That's really insightful, by the way.
Yeah.
I really like that. You know, give them attention, regardless, because that is what we need. That's what we all
yeah,
need.
you need
You need the love
acceptance.
unconditionally.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you're not going to only be loved when you do your stupid pet trick.
Right. Right.
I'm not going to give you an extra pat on the head for that. So that's something that, you know, that me and his mom we're lock and step on with that, you know, but he definitely has a sense of humor. And I had that, I was drawing comic strips. Humor was the connector. When you're in a different school district, you better make them laugh or you're going to get punched.
Yeah.
So you better figure out a way to try to connect with people. And, and I've tried to get them to understand that, being able to make people laugh, it's a superpower. Because if you can make someone laugh, you can make them think or feel anything you want on the other side of that. So, be careful in how you use it when you use it, because it is a high responsibility. But he's smarter because he also has access to far more information. His tablet is an encyclopedia set.
That's true.
And everything else.
Roy, you mentioned getting punched, and I wanted to ask, you've been in 2 fights?
2 fights.
Can you tell us about that?
1 loss, 1 tie.
Tell us the story.
The first fight was easy. That was 4th grade. I lost. It wasn't over a girl, but it was over a girl.
Okay.
Like, she liked me, not him.
Oh.
So I have to fight you now.
But you lost.
Oh, yeah, I lost. Yeah, I lost.
But you kept the girl? The girl still liked you?
No, she's somewhere in Alabama married.
Oh, I don't mean like now. Yeah. But after that fight?
Oh, yeah, we went out for like 2 weeks, and then her older sister said, I better not see you with my sister anymore, or I'll beat your ass. And I was like, yes, ma'am.
I lost 1 fight this year. That's enough for me.
Another one.
What's funny is that years later on a Google search, I found out that sister is did some time in jail for aggravated assault. And I'm okay.
You made the right choice.
Yeah.
She really do be beating ass. That's that woman is true to her fucking cause. The other fight, though, is a little more, I don't know if hilarious is the word.
It sounds funny, the little bit that we know about it.
Was that a Stop the Violence rally?
I got in a fight at a Stop the Violence rally.
Do tell, please.
Yeah.
Which, okay, if you have a pending showdown with a person, if you know you have to fight, but you don't want to fight.
Oh, the worst.
Start the fight at a place where the fight cannot happen.
Yeah, no, that's so smart.
Pulled apart.
Right.
It's like the way people talk shit in the airport. You're not going to fight me in the airport.
Yeah.
It's the airport, and you know the cops are coming.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to talk shit until the cops come.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, me and this guy, we've been kind of going back and forth all day. And
How old were you?
This is 7th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, Center Street Middle School. And we played this game. Do you know why? Do you know why the fight happened? You
No,
just
we
know
don't know.
why.
All we know
we
is
just know
Stop
you
the
got in a fight
Violence,
at a Stop the Violence
which is
rally.
just a great
Yeah.
little.
So there's a game that we play in Birmingham. I don't know if they still play it now, but there's a game we play in Birmingham called BB Bull.
Okay.
And so BB Bull is a game where you pinky lock in with other people within the school. You don't know everyone who's playing. But the idea of BB Bull is that for the entire day, you cannot say a single word that starts with the letter B.
What? Wow.
So you have to literally be conscious of everything you're saying at all times.
Wow.
If you say a word that starts with the letter B, if you don't say BB Bull, then whoever is playing BB Bull can just beat the shit out of you. Just literally start punching you in the face, in the chest. You get jumped.
Oh my God.
This is what we did for fun in Alabama. So
High stakes.
you get beat up until you say BB Bull. You could be pinched. I can inflict pain on you, and you cannot retaliate because you said a B word without saying BB Bull. Fine. I play the game. We've played the game all the time. BB Bull is a fun, adolescent, puberty-driven aggression.
Yeah.
We get into this Stop the Violence rally. It's Black History Month, and all of the black wokety woke adults are speaking, and y'all got to stay off the drugs, and you got to stop doing and killing each other. And then we sing We Shall Overcome, the old Negro anthem, and there's a line in the song where it goes, we shall overcome, deep in my heart, I do believe. that we shall overcome someday. And I get to believe. And a motherfucker behind me
Just
punches
right-
me.
My God.
And I'm like, hey, man, we're singing a civil rights, we're singing a Negro spiritual right now.
Yeah.
I thought this was like,
Safe
Safe.
space.
Yeah.
like I thought there's certain exemptions
Yeah.
Yeah.
to BB Bull. But to the gentleman behind me, there are no exemptions. I don't care what it is. If the word starts with a B and you say it, I'm punching you.
Wow.
And he punched me square in the back of the head.
Oh my
We're still friends to this day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Oh
like.
my
this is-
But in the moment, fucking Mario punches me square in the back of my knuckle to skull. Like there's no
Oh,
skin
Oh, yeah,
in the
nothing
back. There's
to-
no cushion. There's no
Oh
fat
my gosh.
in the back of your head.
Wow.
So I turn around, I punched him square in his motherfucking chest. At a Stop the Violence rally, while we're singing We Shall Overcome. I'm in a full-blown fight. And he goes, you didn't say BB Bull. I don't give a damn about a BB Bull. And we're going at each other, and 2 teachers came and snatched us up.
Wow.
We got like proper detention for like a week and a half. off of that.
Wow.
But in the midst of that fight, like, he punches me in the back of the head. I turn around and punch him. And like this quick jab slap, like, so come to find out years later, Mario's daddy was military. So I'm like, okay, I shouldn't have been punching. I shouldn't have. My daddy, a radio DJ, he got soft hands. Your daddy was out there in the shit. So he slapped me. I'll call it a tie. Depends on who you ask that day. And it's also one of those fights where if you don't see the initial 2 blows and all you see is a slap, then in school they just go, Mario slapped the shit out of Roy.
Right.
And I'm like, no, hang on. I also had a lick.
You had to do PR for this
on.
fight.
You're still doing it.
Let the record show.
Yeah. Middle school is wild. I've never been a fighter, but it took something like that with a best friend,
Yeah.
you know, for me to finally like go, okay, I'll be angry now.
Yeah.
I think particularly for you, you know, you described a youth that is like so conceptually, intellectually, ideologically rich, which is like so much. It's almost everything, but for feelings, you know, and so with this really interesting kind of path you were on through your youth, where did love come into play? You know, crushes, like I, you know, there's crushes which are unique because often they're not requited, but then there's also heartbreak. You know, do you have like a crush or a heartbreak story? You did describe a fight, like over a girl, I guess.
But that was in middle school. That was 4th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 4th grade.
As you got older, what did that
didn't
look
work
like for
out.
you?
I didn't really date a lot. Like I didn't, like I wasn't suave. I wasn't cool. And girls in middle school, you've got to have the muscles or the stature. Like you almost have to be a specimen of a man to be a catch. You know, like looking back on the girl I dated in middle school, it's really not that different than now in the sense that we have to interact and be around one another. And then eventually, oh, you like me. Like the spark happens like that. So I didn't go out a lot. I didn't write a lot of love letters. When I was in 8th grade, I was dating a girl in the 6th grade, which almost sounds illegal, like in a weird way. And then, like, once I got to high school, I was like, we have to break up.
Yeah.
I'm a
gulf
9th
is too
grader
wide.
now.
No, that's the right
Yeah.
call.
You're in the 7th grade. It's weird. But 8 to 6 somehow made sense. That was my first kiss, too, in the back of her uncle's van.
Was her uncle in there? No.
Yeah, he was driving. But it was one of those, the Chevy Econo, I call it the A-Team van. So, I mean, you'd have to,
Yeah.
it's not like the Econo line. There were the vans in the 80s and 90s where it was like 2 captain chairs in the middle. Like if you imagine like a proper SUV now, where it's 2 seats in the middle and then there's the back row. only in those days it was like fur
Yeah.
and carpet, and it
Wow.
was like a living room
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I remember
Yeah.
those very well.
with the TV
Uh-huh,
and the
uh-huh.
ceiling
Oh
and
my
all of
God.
that.
I drove across country in one of those when I moved from East to West Coast.
Wow.
So we went to a school dance together, and her uncle drove us, and I got a kiss from her, and I rode the high of that kiss for like, I don't know, fucking 3 months.
Cute.
But the problem in middle school, though, is that, at least for me, you just didn't really have anywhere to like even try to do shit. Like,
Yeah.
you're horny, but you don't have access. Like, every story I heard of middle schoolers who were sexually active, they were all fucking in just weird places. Like, it's just sex in the most inopportune. I heard so they had sex in the biology lab last, and they got caught by the janitor, but he didn't say nothing.
It's true.
It's like,
Yeah, my
oh
sports
yeah,
mates, like,
that's how you
yeah.
had to cop a feel. Like, even in high school with my high school sweetheart, we would like sneak down to the boy, like if both of our school buses got to school early enough, you know you had an extra 10 minutes to play with. So let's go downstairs and fucking kiss.
Yeah.
Everything, so much had to coalesce, and all of it was out of your control.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like no teachers would go in the teachers' lounge in the morning. We figured that out once because we kept going to the boiler room and it was hot. They were like, let's just close the door of the teachers' lounge
Yeah.
and just lock it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, it's air conditioned. Let's grope in here.
Yeah. That's also bold, which just goes to show when
Yeah.
you're that age, you're just like anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Don't
don't
do
know.
anything.
You don't know what you don't. So I'm going to
Yeah.
steal this space shuttle. She won't
Yeah.
notice this right angle protruding from my clothing.
It's true.
Well, Brody, I think we're going to move into your illustrious career. Different comedians have different stances on whether or not it's appropriate to comment on political issues. So sort of Seinfeld famously, has a stance like don't do it, not appropriate. Chappelle is on the other side of the spectrum. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about comedians talking or commenting heavily on social issues, politics?
I think every comedian I think comedy's a form of journalism, first of all. But I think every comedian is either I'm going to report on myself or I'm going to report on the world. And it could be as deep or as surface as you want it to be in terms of the emotion and the depth of the story. But, I look at it, and if you think about comedy as journalism, then you have some people who choose to be overseas correspondents. You have finance reporters. You have sports reporters. You have hard news people. It's all the same.
Yeah, you're right.
It's all journalism. So I don't think the sports reporter is judging the war correspondent. And I don't think the war correspondent should be judging the journal. Every town has the one journalist that just does the wacky story. This dog loves cupcakes and will only eat cupcakes. Okay. That's what that's the part of the world that journalist wanted to point a camera at, and they have a right to. I just think it's one big ecosystem. It's a beehive. And so we all service the greater good, which is to educate the people. But I enjoy talking about the world. I enjoy juggling dynamite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
bottle rockets.
That's more fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more fun to me. I have more fun seeing if I can pull off a trans right school shooting joke in under 3 sentences.
It was so good. So good.
Some people on the internet disagree with you,
I know. I think it was so
but
good.
that's still good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it or hate it, have an emotion about it.
Yeah.
And to me, if you didn't learn anything else from Donald Trump, hate is still engagement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's still
true.
relevance.
Yeah.
So I'm not even mad at people that didn't like anything that I did or a particular joke rubbed you the wrong way. It's not going to change what I do. But other comics, they, like guys like Seinfeld, they're amazing at what they choose to do, the lane they choose to stay in.
Yeah.
Jim Gaffigan is one that was like that for a long time. And then during Trump, a switch flipped, and Gaffigan went from Hulk Hogan to Hollywood Hogan on the motherfucker. Like, no, Patton Oswalt. Patton Oswalt was very apolitical. Well, he was fringe political.
Right. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
King of Queens era.
Because I was going to say, I didn't ever think of him as that, but you're right.
King of Queens era,
Yes.
Patton
Yeah.
Oswalt. Just like, I'll dabble in this. I'll dabble in this a little bit, but I'm going to talk about nerd culture. Because he's like an OG alt comic from the Sarah Silverman early aughts.
Right.
But if you look at what he does now comedically versus 15 years ago, and that's two totally different performers. Some performers evolve into something that is a deeper version or a different version of themselves. So you become the sports reporter who is now a war correspondent. And then some people are war correspondents, and now they just do entertainment news.
Right.
That's still journalism.
Yeah.
You know, there's people that want to know who's Pete Davidson fucking this week.
A lot of people want to know that.
A lot of people want to know
Evidently.
that the same way some people want to know what's happening in Ukraine.
Yeah.
So I bet you both of those stories have the same amount of views on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I just, I don't worry about what the other journalists choose to cover. I just know what my beat is.
It's a very inclusive take, which I really like. I'm also imagining a kid going through an encyclopedia, be like, "Who is Pete Davidson fucking?"
Yeah. You like learning about Pete
algorithm
Davidson?
functioning now.
Do you like Pete Davidson? See also Pauly Shore. It's like giving you terrible comparisons. Pete, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to compare you to Pauly Shore. Much better.
Now, I don't know if you've, call it what we do, research, I don't know. But you did mention mental health in some capacity. Everybody mentions it at some point. What are we talking about? I mean, that word is used like kind of all the time now. So I don't know how much you think about it in those terms, but we did read something where you're talking about it. You're acknowledging the reality, like particularly I think maybe anxiety you were speaking about or something.
Yeah. I mean, I was in a depressed place when I started doing stand-up. I wouldn't say that I still sit in that place now. I go to therapy, but I wouldn't diagnose myself as depressed. And, and neither therapist is saying that I'm in that spot. But it's definitely helped. But then to that point of the word being used too much, like there's a show that I do just kind of as an aside with a licensed mental health therapist where it's just me and comedians. We let the audience anonymously just tell us what they're going through, and then
that's really cool.
We talk shit about it.
Where do you do this? When do you do this?
This is in New York. Probably once a quarter we do it.
That's
it's called
really cool.
Tribulations. And we're going to live stream the next one again so people can watch it or whatever. But me and the comedians clown and make fun of it. And, we're silly.
Yeah.
And then a licensed therapist comes on.
That's very cool.
And unpacks the whole thing.
That's so smart.
But the thing I'm trying to do is figure out a way to... Part of the reason why we did it was to get people in a room. If you put 300 people in a room and you anonymously let them say what they're going through, you get some shit.
So that means they've written something.
Well, it's an app. We have it's like an app that everybody in the room can look at. So you can scroll through and see everybody else's tribulations.
Whoa.
And know what other people in the room are going through. And so in a way, it lets you know you're not alone.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to read it, but when you're in the proximity of other people.
Like the point is they know that they're sitting in a room where this
person is going through this thing right now.
I feel like this is the most compelling plug of any guest we've ever. I mean, like I want to be there. This is so fascinating to me. I really love that.
It's fun. It's really fun. It's cathartic. It's weird. It's meaningful.
Yeah.
And people end up talking after the show. And we did a Tribulations show about a year ago myself. The therapist is B. Arthur.
What?
She's black. It's not
Okay.
Well, can't be her with respect. But what I mean. But we did one year where someone was talking about how they have trouble making friends in their 30s in the city because how do you make new friends, especially if you work remote?
Yeah, that's a big one. I think a lot of people face that. Yeah.
So, we have a part at the end of the show where if people want to come up and confess what their tribulation was in the app, so we can just put a face to it or whatever. And this woman came up and 8-9 people were like, let's swap numbers.
That's so cool. Dude, this is beautiful.
So nice.
How do you feel about it?
I like it, as a comic, I try to run away from the warmth of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, okay,
I'm just
it's
doing
enough now.
jokes. I'm not trying to change the world, okay? I just put together a show where if sad people get with sad people, maybe they don't have to be sad. But other than that, it's just jokes.
Wait, can I ask? I don't want to diminish it because it sounds so special,
No.
but what's like the why? Was there ever a tribulation where you're like, oh shit, like I don't know, like what's like the wildest one?
We've had.
What was their name?
Yeah. And was it Penn?
We've had there was a guy who got his brother's wife pregnant,
Oh.
and she had the kid, and they still haven't told him.
Oh, my goodness.
Wait, hold on. A guy got his brother's wife
My
pregnant.
nephew is my son, and I haven't told my
Oh, my
brother.
goodness.
Wow.
What should I do?
Oh no.
What did you? How,
That's-
what did,
that-
I guess there were good
I
jokes
passed
there.
that one off to the therapist.
You're like, all right.
I'm not handling that one at all. I think you have to
wild.
learn.
That one to be Arthur.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then there's like silly stuff. Like there was
Yeah.
a guy who he found the guy who stole his car
Mm-hmm.
and knows where he works and has like been plotting for the last 2 months on what to do.
Oh, that's
Oh.
incredible. I want to follow that story.
He's
Yeah.
like, I
Wow.
want to, like, should I beat him up? What
Yeah.
should I?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you kind of got to let it go. You got your car back. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he wants to fucking demolish this person.
Wow.
To which I said, if he works because the tribulation was vague,
Mm-hmm.
if he works in any type of forward-facing customer service job, it's just get him
easy.
fired.
Yeah.
Just figure out a way to get him fired. I know that's terrible,
Yeah.
but that's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair. Yeah.
You stole my car. You didn't get caught for it, and now I know where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's fair. And the
You're
only
like,
reason-
you got to get over it, or you could get him fired.
yeah, well, because someone who's asking a tribulation like that tells me you're not a violent person. You don't own a gun.
Yeah.
Because anybody else that's about that life, you would just walk in and beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
So that means you're a quiet, silent petty like me, and that's what I'm into.
Yeah.
You leave Yelp reviews about
Yeah. That's what I was going
things
to say.
that never happened.
Oh. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's like a quick way.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yelp
beef.
reviews.
It's like the beginning of beef.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just literally just figuring out ways to surgically demolish that person's life. Bit by bit. And then you can sleep better at night. But it's a fun and silly show, but like we're trying to destigmatize the idea of just dealing with all of your issues alone
Yeah.
Yeah.
man.
and putting
No,
it somewhere. But again, like when you say mental health, when you say therapy, some people shut down
Yeah.
when they hear that word. But then I also don't like the word advice
Hmm.
because it's more than that.
Yeah.
It's not an advice show.
Yeah.
It is, but it's
Like a
deeper.
It feels
Yeah,
to me
it's
like
like
a
community
compassion
in a
or-
way,
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, there's a Twitter page for it and Instagram. Like, if you just search Tribulation Show on Instagram, you can watch clips from past shows or whatever. But like, we had a lady that her mother died, and she's the last living child of her mother. Like the mother's like 90, she's 70. All of her siblings are gone.
Mm.
How does she go through the process of cleaning out her childhood home and realizing that she is the only person left of her lineage from her family?
Yeah.
I mean, you got the grandkids, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just me.
I suppose that one wasn't quite anonymous. Everybody just looks around for
Yeah.
for the 70. Well, I guess that's her.
No, she came down front. She came down front and confessed that one in front of everybody. But that one was heavy. And,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, therapist, you can handle
Yeah.
that one. I'm not gonna help you.
So, of all the things you're doing right now, is that like it sounds like it kind of started small, but you have a lot of investment in it.
Tribulations is probably the thing I'm most excited about.
That's
this year.
cool. Okay.
I mean, I'm touring, I'm doing stand up.
Yeah.
I do not know what late night is going to be on the other side of the strike. Like, because it's
Yeah.
always, well, do you want to host the Daily Show? Okay, yeah, but what the fuck is happening with late night as a whole?
That's
Yeah.
a great question.
What's happening with the economics of the business as a whole?
Right.
Yeah.
What am I agreeing to host?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your idea now that we're cutting corners and penny pinching again?
Mm-hmm.
You know, the house is down. So then hedging bets like a
Yeah.
motherfucker. So if that's the case, I can only worry about the things I can control, and that's the road and tribulations. So that's what I'm working on building.
That makes sense.
Do you have a show, the tour you're going on, is it already put together? Do you have a name for it and stuff? Is that?
Yeah, happy to be here.
Okay.
Because some of those cities I'm not going to be happy to be.
Only some.
But the other ones I like. I like those cities. Those cities are cool. Yeah, happy to be here tour. It starts in Kansas City at the top of June, and we're going to go through the end of November into South Florida. And somewhere in between all of that, once a month, I'll be doing the Tribulation show in New York, which is something people can also live stream if you don't live
Once a
in the
month.
city.
So it's been once a quarter, but now it's going to move to once a month.
We're moving it up to a monthly.
That's great.
You know, I think it's something that eventually we can grow into something that's, you know, hopefully a little more meaningful.
Yeah.
But, you know, it takes time.
Of course.
It takes time.
If you could go back to 12-year-old Roy,
Oof.
just for a moment, what would you say or do?
Oh, man. I tell them to focus more. Tell them to focus more. Worry less about what people think about you and worry more about what you want to do. If you focus on what you want to do, the people who want to do it and want to run with you will gravitate to you. Stop trying to fit in. Let the people come to you. And then decide who deserves to be in your circle. Yeah. You know, choose instead of waiting to be chose. I think that's what I would do.
I love that. There's so many good lines in that.
Yeah.
I think that's what I would do.
Sweet.
Thank you, Roy.
Well,
Thank you
Thank
so
you all.
much,
So
Roy. This was
nice.
so nice.
So
I appreciate
lovely.
this.
Thank you.
This was fun.
I'm glad you think so.
Let me hit up my middle school crush right quick.
Yeah. You can follow Roy Wood Jr. online at Roy Wood Jr. You can check out his show at tribulations.show. You can also get tickets for his Happy to Be Here stand-up tour at www.roywoodjr.com.
Our guest today is Roy Wood Jr. And we were really so pleased.
Shoot, I was hoping you'd scream. I wanted to prank him on camera. I just wanted him to scream. I wanted him to ice.
I would just reach out with a cold, wet hand. No, but it's ice.
That's what you were doing.
No, but you know what's
I was,
funny?
like, trying to
You know what's funny?
sneakily
No,
get an ice cube
how
on
long
him.
were you planning that?
No, just in the moment that I saw the ice, I was like, oh no, let's see how he reacts. But I was
It's
hoping
weird.
you'd
This
give a
picture
little.
isn't taking long enough.
It's not cold enough for me. I couldn't feel the ice. It was just like, why is her hand so wet?
Oh my God, you're like, now I need to see a doctor.
That's funny.